got a shooter, I got shooters. I know I'm cooler than the cooler. I know this way you keep the alcohol. I know that I'm about the ball. All of my niggas are savages. Beat up the phone like the scavengers. I know that I'm fly, I got passengers. I love Jesus Christ and Bible passages. My girl so fly, she have a Merlin. She love the majesty like Merlin. And the balls like a Irvin. Should have kept it clean like this detergent. Shit, I done let the cat about the bag. I get naked and let the dick out the sack. Let it breathe, get some air. Baby, please, I'm already there. Decade and creamery everywhere. A purpose in me is a love affair. Smelling the trees, it's a buzzing here. Can't be down with the team if you want prepared. Hey, this in my style. I do with the kiss and attention. Hey, the crowd going wild. So I guess I'ma keep on spitting. Nigga, I borrowed your style, but you won't get no honorable mention. I'm rocking it better than you. I make him retire, no pension. I just get the bread at the food. I say I'm ready to make you move. My movement gon' move, this move. The only option not to lose. Hey, never been scared, you ain't prepared. I ain't sorry. The reason clearly walk the ass up the hill. I ain't sorry. Man, cause you think I ran out with your bid. I ain't sorry. You're tripping because you think I stole your career. I ain't sorry. Hey, you ain't feeling me, no apologies. I ain't sorry. Hey, sorry, not sorry. Hey, I ain't sorry. I don't even feel that bad, my nigga. I ain't sorry. Give no fucks about your ass, my nigga. I ain't sorry. You got nigga choose. Keep it poppin' like a tool. Or your bitch pussy hole in my crew. Colder than the ice under the new.
Man, y'all notice how that lady behind me don't never move? That lady behind me, she don't never move. She playing in a world-class game of freeze tag, what she's doing. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Bong Hits with Jessie. As you can see, we have all three things today, guys. Coffee, Bong Hits, and Jessie. I am Jesse Sponberg, your host and the last sane person on this planet, I really believe. The rest of y'all are just loons, man. For real. It's like you guys ain't even really on this planet. I don't even know how to explain it, but I will do my best today to explain it. As you can see, we got that safety orange. We got that safety orange to make sure that nobody comes by and hits us with a car or something while we're navigating cyber traffic. So here's a couple things. We're going to do a lot of YouTubing today, right? But we also got the bird cam in full effect. So if you like birds, you might want to if you like birds, we might keep an eye on the, whoa, I just lost the cam. Man, I had a second bird cam and it's gone. Man, I woke up this morning to all my batteries were dead on all the different utility phones that we use. All right, so, yeah, right, Sarah? Throw me in my ensemble on one of these job sites. So we're going to keep an eye on the bird cam. There should be birds coming and going on that camera all morning. We are one of the only shows that you know that has a 24-hour bird cam going on, so you can see all the stuff. We actually had 2 bird cams today, believe it or not, but the battery already died on one of our cameras, and that is all bad. Okay, so we're going to dive a lot today into more impeachment stuff because apparently it's happening again, and I'm lucky because I get to be Dan Rather for 2021. So if it goes down, we report on it, I guess. I don't know. So here's your reminder to go to standupandfightback.bigcartel.com for all your F Joe Biden stuff, because I already bought them all out of all the F Donald Trump stuff. So now I need some F Joe Biden gear. Shit, I protested against Obama. I ain't no celebrity cult worshiping. I ain't damn near. If I did have a personality, which I'm not claiming that I do, but if I did have a personality, it wouldn't be built around a president. And if I did build it around a president, it would be Jimmy Carter probably, or George Washington, because George Washington crossed the Delaware across the Delaware, standing up, right? You see that poster, that painting, he's standing up at the edge of his boat like we about to go F some fools up. Yo, shout out to Rajim, the Black Bishop, for our intro music that we always play. Look, let's dive into this world, I guess, man. Let's see. It's a Wednesday, so I don't have any scheduled guests on Wednesday, but that doesn't mean that people won't pop up. A lot of popper-uppers show up on Wednesday. A lot of people just want to holler and say hello. We could do it. One of these days we're going to have a party where I'm just going to put the whole video. Shit. Look, okay, here. Man. Okay, so man, I'm just going to share this with you guys. This is what YouTube, I know your guys probably has a lot of stupid shit on your YouTube, but not me. This is what my YouTube looks like. All right, we'll keep the bird cam up. And I guess we'll keep the double cam. For those who are listening on podcasts, I'm really sorry I haven't said good morning to you yet. Especially if you're one of the people that just discovered our show on iHeartRadio. We're brand new this week on iHeartRadio. But you might have already heard us on iTunes or Google Podcasts or one of these other wonderful platforms. I'm struggling with my headphones today. I feel like they're all over and making a lot of side noise. Forgive me. Okay, so here's our options. YouTube wants to know if we want to play that Rajim, the Black Bishop again, but as part of a mix. Or if we want to replay that J Mello. Oh, no, that's a brand new J Mello. We'll probably play that today, as a matter of fact. Last week we played the J Mello with Scooter Rogers, and I guess I could give you the lowdown real quick that Scooter Rogers is actually going to be a guest on our show on Monday the 18th. If y'all don't know who Scooter Rogers is, he's a pretty dope MC. His manager, y'all ain't got managers? His manager, Shrista, hit me up and said, we want to get Scooter on your show. I said, that's great. We just played that new J Mello with him in it. Look at that bird cam. That bird cam is fire. There's just birds all over. I guess the logo's up in the middle of it, but boom, look, this is the cracking place to be, my house. Boom, make a move, bird. Make your bird move. Okay, I'd like to also, while I got this opportunity, remind you guys about the movement. You guys know about the movement? The movement's the movement. That's a real Portland shit. Playing cuts here. I just let myself explain it to you. Hey, yo, it's Jesse Sponberg. I'm rocking with the movement. You can too. Every Sunday night, 10 p.m. only on KBOO, KBOO 90.7. Yo. And don't forget the 5 Radio XL moves to Roku. I know it seems like, Jesse, what wasn't a year ago you said you guys were going to be on Roku? Motherfucker, this shit does not happen overnight, right? You can't, if you tell me, Jesse, you said you're going to have a pirate ship, like, fool, we got to fill up the ocean first. So while you're waiting, go ahead and download the 5 Radio XL app.
New music coming up. And we're right back. That is a GE.
Okay, we don't want to get no copyright infringements. Yo, don't forget also Flight Lounge is in the house. They're still pushing out the best breakfast in all of Portland, Oregon. Like, not just today, in the history of Portland, Oregon. Nobody has ever put out as good of a breakfast sandwich as Marcus Branch is cranking out of Flight Lounge. And if you want to represent, go get that merch. And here's some other shit. As Facebook continues to remove controversial personalities and Twitter continues to remove controversial personalities, I sit here as a controversial personality imploring you to go to urbansurvivorman.com. Go to urbansurvivorman.com and watch the show there, read the articles there. If I ever come up missing, that is where you can find me, rocking with the 24-hour bird cam. What? How many birds can one man have? That's what the pheasants ask. You should have seen it when I was setting up for the show. I had the double bird cams cracking. I had the birds to the left of me, birds to the right. Here I am. Look. Oh, did you just see that bird slide in freeze frame? He just put out his feet and just skied. Okay, I know it's crazy, but I feel like the longer that we can hold off. Hey, you guys, the real party is on YouTube, though. That's where, if you really want to participate, find Coffee and Bong Hits on YouTube. That's where most of the chit chat is cracking. Okay, so let's go back and look at what I have as options. So, got the new Jay Mello. We got the White House impeachment. Wait, I don't even know. Damn, that's not what was supposed to happen. That's not what was supposed to happen. Okay. Look, we got an old episode of Oregon Voter Digest. Yo, we got some old-ass video from Rashid Jamal. Yo, we got kayaking, the Silver River in Ocala. Man, I don't even know about that. Look, we're going to go in 2 seconds. Oh, man. And if you ain't never, if you never seen this video over here on the right, this one that's Q-Tip featuring Kanye doing the award tour live. Holy sheesh. That is the jam. Oh my gosh. Q-Tip and Kanye drunk rapping my favorite song. Boom, boom, boom. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Oh my gosh. You know how much better this show would be if I just played all my favorite shit for you guys? But instead, look, this is what we're going to do. Look.
Silver Springs in Ocala, Florida.
Look at this dude.
And we came to the park, paid our admission, and then I followed the guy down. We dropped off
What
the trailer.
if this was what Coffee and Bong Hits look like every day?
So we're starting our paddle. We brought our mask, fins, and snorkel, but we found out there was no swimming allowed.
Oh my God, this dude just said, this dork right here with the cowboy hat just said they brought their mask, fins, and snorkel. Bro, do you know that there are birds in that jungle that'll whoop your ass? Do you realize that there's alligators in there? You and that little dog and that lady behind you, you were going to snorkel? In gator country, yo, there's more alligators. There is more alligators in some of these creeks than there are. There's more alligators in some of these creeks than there are people at a Blazer game. I ain't even lying. Watch, I'm gonna blimp this guy. Let this play in the background. Look, there's a fort. Look, that guy's trying to be like a discoverer. Shut up, man. That's not even an old fort. That's a rebuild. Get out of here. That's just for the tourists. Keep going, man. Look, wouldn't Coffee and Bong Hits be a better show if it was Coffee and Bong Hits and alligators? Look, that bird right there, that bird is hard. That bird lives in the jungle with bears, like the kind of bears that you could box. Right? Oh man, Marty, would I rather encounter an alligator or a cougar? Well, so here's the thing. If I encountered a cougar, I would just rub its tummy. If I run into an alligator, I would just rub its tummy. So I don't know. I don't know. Are you asking me who I would rather fight? I would rather fight the cougar than the alligator. Just because I don't want to drown, right? I'd rather fight on land. But well, there's monkeys. See, look, man. There's monkeys. We would just have Coffee and Bong Hits and alligators and monkeys. This could be us every day. Instead of a kayak, I hang out with some dude on a BMX bike or a stolen 10-speed. That's no kind of life for somebody. Me and these birds need to get out of here. Oh, Marty, you know what? They have cougars in Florida too. They're just called Black Panthers. You know, like Bagheera. Okay, check this out. Speaking of the jungle, speaking of Black Panthers, it is 10:17. That means I'm right on time to take my bong hit of the day. Let me just remind you that the bong hit of the day is brought to you by what? Brought to you by who? What? Brought to you by Anteaters. Hey, kids, are you looking for an environmentally friendly pest remediation solution that the whole family's going to love? Get an anteater. Anteaters will eat daddy long legs, potato bugs, crickets, grasshoppers, stick bugs, praying mantises, ladybugs, slugs, tarantulas, black widows. I don't know. They'll eat everything you don't want. Okay, let me choke this down while we imagine what coffee and bong hits would look like from this jungle every day. We would just hang. Oh my God, there was a hippie that just jumped out the tree.
Higher than it looks.
Man, I would do that. But man, they're jumping in the Silver River. Oh, there's alligators right there. Oh.
Oh, shoot. The boat's in the way. Oh, just another second.
Wow, that guy's about to jump, but that lady has her boat in his way. And he's like, look, lady, there's a boat in my way. Boom, look at that. Look underwater. Tell me that doesn't look like the creature from the Black Lagoon's house.
We're at mile 3.2. I think it's a total of 5.
Hold up.
The tree jump was really cool. There's a big manatee right in front of us. It's surfaced. No, stay in the boat. I didn't even know there were manatees in this river.
Fool, of course you didn't know there's manatees in this river. You're about to just go snorkeling, you dorkling. Look. Oh, man. Yo, I tried not to report on it the other day, but did you see that somebody on the Osama River or the Osasama River in northern central Florida actually carved the word Trump into the side of a manatee? Yo, that's what I tried to explain the other day to the people that listen to the Broken Glass podcast. I was a guest on the Broken Glass podcast, and, you know, they tried to, everybody tries to make it partisan, right? As if I give a shit about politics or as I give a shit about, there you go, Fenda. Now you over here on the YouTubes. This is what a party is, man. Look, we don't need Facebook. You know, I went to Alex and I was like, Alex, I got a mission to get off of Facebook. And Alex was like, well, guess what? That's going to require more Facebook. I'm like, dude, what are you even talking about? Okay, so check this out. Well, I want to explain Alex's business model to help people get off of Facebook and to get off of social media, but I feel like I do it better in black and white. So hold on, here you go. Renting space in cyberspace, renting an apartment from Zuckerberg is no safer than renting an apartment in Portland, Oregon. Your rents keep going up, your accommodations keep going down, the neighborhood keeps getting worse. Well, all of you should be doing is going and getting yourself a nice little condominium that you own or a little piece of land in cyberspace so that your product can really exist on its own. And then you can still leave your real estate and go dabble with the commoners, right, in social media, but you can always come back and they can never take it away. So for that, check out my man Alex at Total Market Exposure. Man, whoa! Oh my God, you guys, that just blew my mind. Holy shit. So look, you still yo, my life is too crazy to even try to explain to you guys what happened, but I'm going to give it my best shot anyways. I just came back from that commercial, and that lady with the mullet was on the screen. And I thought that was me. And I quickly had to do inventory to remember which quantum leap I was currently in at the moment. That is insane. That really just happened. It was more plausible and more believable. And my brain went right to that to try to figure out what reality I jumped into versus thinking that maybe the YouTube video was on a different part of the river. That's crazy, man. That is a testament right there to how nuts my life is. Am I a bird? Am I a lady from Florida with a mullet? Am I Jessie Sponberg? Who knows, right? Because the only thing that is fixed is the location of the brain material, right? The actual tangible mechanical brain itself. The mind is infinite, so the mechanical brain was set right there in Florida. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys can see my face when I try to reconcile why all of a sudden I was a lady with a mullet. Anyways, did the birds give up on the bird cam? They're probably trying to unionize. They probably called Chris Humbird. They're like, yo, Chris, help us unionize, man. We're working for peanuts out here. Okay. It's so funny, that lady. I thought it was me. I looked at the video where usually it's me and there's a lady, and I was like, am I a lady? Oh, man, that's too rich. All right, so this lady's just got the map. Look, that's enough of that. I was just trying to prolong it. So the point that I'm trying to make is that your brain is infinite. I mean, your brain is finite. Your mind is infinite. Look, I'm stumbling. Let me try this again, y'all. Your brain is fixed. Every experience you have, every thought you have, every moment you have, every punctuated spark of emotion in this planet you have, that's all tied to a fixed location, latitude, longitude, elevation, rotation of the earth, seasons, distance of the moon from the earth, right? Gravitational pull, all those things, man. There's very precise coordinates you can get to duplicate any exact moment, right? This is the level of decay in my cells. This is the amount of breath in my lungs. This is the amount of wax in my ear. This is the total number of boogers in my nose, right? Like, you can go and punch all of that into any place you want and go back to that exact moment. But what you can't do, look, this guy's just bugging me now. You better have something good for me, pal. Okay. What you can't do, boom, damn it, it's that same guy jumping. Get out of here. Okay. What you can't do is you can't channel my infinite thoughts into one location. You can't pinpoint them. So my infinite mind can jump out at any point. Does that make sense? My mind could be at Timothy Lake right now from a time I went there in 1985. My mind could be up on Memaloose Road from some time that me and Killer went there. That's not a memory. That's a fixed point in time that I could go back to once I leave the aquarium and exist within the fish store. Feel me? Does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense to this lady right here who's frozen in time. It doesn't make much sense to look, who's going to get their video played right now? What? Somebody's got to have, one of the local homies has to have a video up right now. What? More monkey videos? Yo, man. We can do this. we can play. Don't worry about it because it ain't for 8 more minutes. But I just want to have that ready. In the meantime, all right. Yo, yes. Tiff's over here on YouTube now. This is the place, man. F Zuckerberg. I don't even know who runs YouTube, honestly. They're probably jerks too, just because the odds of the odds of anybody with that much power being cool and us not knowing about it is slim, right? Okay, let me smoke some real quick, and then we'll dig into this, and then we'll play old Scooter Rogers video that we'll pretend is brand new, and we'll go find this YouTube real quick, and we'll see what's going on for the next 3 minutes. Because then don't forget, at the bottom of the hour, we got to go to Red Panda, because what am I looking for? Yeah, here we go. House debates on impeaching Trump for the second time. This is what we should have been watching the whole time, but man, I don't want
to. Gentleman from
Jim Jordan, what a time.
California is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, gentlemen, for yielding.
That's funny because I don't recognize that guy.
Let me be clear. Last week's violent attack on the Capitol was undemocratic, un-American, and criminal. Violence is never a legitimate form of protest. Freedom of speech and assembly under the Constitution is rooted in nonviolence. Yet the violent mob that descended upon this body was neither peaceful nor democratic. It acted to disrupt Congress's constitutional responsibility. It was also an attack on the people who work in this institution, members, staff, and the hundreds who work behind the scenes so that we can serve the American people. The greatest statesman in the history of our country understood that the most dangerous threat to freedom is lawlessness. A young lawyer named Abraham Lincoln famously said, "There is no grievance that is a fit object of redress by mob law." Yet for several hours last week, mob law tried to interfere with constitutional law. Some say the riots were caused by Antifa. There is absolutely no evidence of that. And conservatives should be the first to say so. Conservatives also know that the only thing that stops mob violence is to meet it with force rooted in justice and backed by moral courage. And last week we saw mob violence met by courage, sacrifice, and heroism from the brave men and women who protect this institution every day. But for the bravery of the Capitol Police, the destruction and loss could have been much greater. We owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. The loss of Officer Brian Sednick and Officer Howard Lindmegood is tragic and heartbreaking. We mourn their loss, remember their lives, and continue to pray for their families and loved ones. The officers of the Capitol Police deserve our eternal thanks. We will never forget the dangers they faced, the determination they showed, or the sacrifices they made.
Stop
And make
grandstanding.
no mistake, those who are responsible for Wednesday's chaos will be brought to justice. Which brings me to today's debate.
Y'all, I'm going to tell you
I
something.
believe impeaching the president in such a short time frame would be a mistake. No investigations have been completed. No hearings have been held. What's more, the Senate has confirmed that no trial will begin until after President-elect Biden is sworn in. But here is what a vote to impeach would do. A vote to impeach would further divide this nation.
Oh my gosh,
A
shut
vote to
up.
impeach will further fan the flames of partisan division. Most Americans want neither inaction nor retribution. They want durable bipartisan justice. That path is still available, but is not the path we are on today. That doesn't mean the president is free from
That's
fault.
weird how he just went
The
so
president bears
Pinocchio that he had to
responsibility
adjust
for
his
bringing
mask because his
death
nose
to
grew.
Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was
This is
unfolding.
Coffee and Bong Hits. If you're
These
listening
facts
to the
require
audio only
immediate
version,
action by President Trump.
this is House Minority
Accept
Leader
the
Kevin
shared
McCarthy,
responsibility
a Republican
well
from
the voting
California,
left
speaking right now
and ensure
at
President-elect
the House of
Biden
Representatives.
is able to successfully begin his term. And the president's immediate
Yeah,
action
now would be a
also
good
addresses
time to
the national
ask,
election,
what are y'all
which is
smoking
why I
on?
think a fact-finding commission and a censure resolution would be prudent. Unfortunately, that is not where we are today.
Oh, shoot.
Truly, this past week was one of the most difficult for Congress.
Hey, you guys, it's
in our
halftime. We got to go to Red Panda real quick.
All the days here, last Wednesday was the worst day I've ever seen in Congress. Or when we must remember who we are as Americans.
Yeah, we're back.
And what we as a nation stand for.
This is Coffee and
And
Bong
as
Hits.
history shows,
That was Red Panda.
unity is not an option.
That was probably
It's a
hard to
necessity.
follow if you're listening on a podcast. That's
It is
why
as
you should always try to
necessary
catch us
today
live,
as it was at the start
10
of our
a.m.
country.
Pacific Standard Time every day on
I want us all to
urbansurvivorman.com.
think back
Blub, 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 blub.
to how John Adams and the Federalist Party handed power over to Thomas Jefferson and his party after the election of 1800. That election, and indeed that era, was one of the most divisive ever. Partisans used every dirty trick in the book. They demonized each other, dismissed reasonable dissent, and described their opponents as seditious. Sound familiar? The election of 1800 could have destroyed our young nation. But instead of breaking us, it helped us bring us together, thereby preserving the world's last best hope of freedom.
This guy's crap.
After a hard-fought battle over the Electoral College in Congress, Adams conceded. And a peaceful transfer of power, the first in American history, took place. Jefferson, for his part, put aside the division of the era and preached forgiveness. Yes, unity. In his first inaugural address, he famously said, "Every difference of opinion is not a difference of principle." Jefferson and Adams did not end every difference of opinion that existed in America, nor did they try. In a free country as big and diverse as ours, that would be impossible. What they did was more important. They recognized a deeper unity, a unity rooted in the famous proposition both men helped to write. At a critical moment in history, our founders chose peace, liberty, partnership over tension, division, and partisanship.
Bullshit. Impeach
For
that
the sake of our
mofo.
country, we must make the exact same choice. We have already begun.
Bro,
Last
screw
week,
you.
despite the lingering shock,
Look, look, look,
amid
look,
the
look, look,
windows
look,
still
look,
broken,
look, 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 look,
we did
look.
what all healthy democracies do. We debated and we voted. And
Guess
no
what, man? It's 10:35. If you're a local musician, and by local I just mean
and we must do more.
I know you. I just mean if I know you. So I don't care where you live. When I say local, I get all over the place, right? So local, I don't care if you live in Hawaii, California, Portland, Gresham, Seattle, Oakland, Los Angeles, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. If you live in North Dakota, only The video's all over YouTube, Ernie. You just gotta look for it. I just told you what to type a minute ago. Okay, so it's 10:35. It's actually 10:37, so I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I will play your music, and that will help you get your. So this show doesn't pay ASCAP money, right? But you can get your ASCAP money by going to the 5. Play your music on the 5. We'll pay you that way, but this will be for your portfolio, right? You'll be like, okay, well, what are you? Like, oh, I got a music video, right? But if you're like, oh, I got a music video and I was on Coffee and Bong Hits and they played my video and my video ended up in the rotation. Does that make sense? Are y'all ready for this, man? This is Scooter Rogers. Scooter will actually be a guest next Monday live on the show. And man, I asked Trista, I said, is he going to freestyle? And she was like, man, give him some words to freestyle to. Now, I'm the last person you want to do that to, right? I'll come up with some crazy words. I could come up with some crazy ass words. Oh, you know what, Ernie? I messed up and it is not actually on Urban Survivor Man this morning. Just yesterday's episode is. But if you go to that channel, we'll be live on that channel. Anyways, let me play this and I'll quit making excuses and just come on the show and then put it in your catalog. Use it as your promotional material. It's way different than just pushing a video. All right, Dan. This is Scooter Rogers from last year, y'all. This is from last year. This is Ricky Rubio. This is Coffee and Bong Hits. Go leave us a review. 1 star, 5 star. I don't give a shit. Just don't 3 stars. All right, then.
Say that.
I always want to rap over these, man.
By the way, fuck y'all, I'm back. In the most incredible way. You talk my shit. Let's go. Just a young nigga from the west with some shit I gotta get off of my chest like a bench press. Tell these young niggas I'm not impressed. I'm the best, wanna test, I will leave you in your men stretch. Stepped in the party, I'm quite the fly nigga. That pack fat gats in the back of my Sprinter. See, I'm that raw. I just wanna hit a rap tour and relocate to LA. I feel like Kawhi Leonard, eyes squinted, but they see how we get it in. Hold my whole flow, hot shit sizzling. Niggas act tough, I got shooters in the cuts that give it up. And they do it for the bucks, them boys is Chris Middleton. See, I got the flow that they can never get enough of. So if I really want it, I'ma get it. Don't you ever get it fucked up. I'm at my peak in the P and bring the heat with the D, little nigga. I'm Jimmy Butler. Tell them little niggas they should stop that flossing. She said, do I work out? Told her not that often. I cook them like shellfish. I'm selfish. But a nigga sell ticks and get green. You could call that Boston. I'm in this with the gang. We taking this whole farther. Left the pen at home so Holmes is no author. But if these little niggas act dumb, my niggas gon' jack son till we all ball like Coach Carter. Go harder. If he don't, well, he gon' lose. Up for that money with my niggas, nigga, we don't snooze. A nigga don't play much. This shit a layup, but I'll pull up on a nigga like I'm Timo Cruz. You think it's sweet? It's nuts. Forever Roche, I run the game and I put that on some Mary Janae. I see a lot of rap niggas looking scared in the face, but that's only when they see a nigga stare at their face. Big boss niggas better not touch a hair on my face. A walking keyboard, I go everywhere with the K. You see this shit been adding up, and the money about to double too. So mama told me, son, don't let these bum bitches trouble you. Yeah, you the shit, but still a spot above the number 2. And X is only one to come around after the W. Niggas copycats, don't let them W. So keep that Glock on the block and in your sock, keep that double deuce. Niggas acting strange and gang a lane switching until you press a lame and they change and play victim. But he said he would aim and bang the Gray Smith and got locked, came home early but claim he ain't snitching. Game different, got a stupid flow. A young nigga going Stewie in the studio. You heard the jazz about how I ran with the wolves until I crashed and reemerged like the Phoenix. Now son on point, I'm Ricky Rubio, nigga.
Yo. I don't believe I didn't throw that up to the very end. I didn't throw that up to the very end. My bad, man. That's Scooter Rogers. That was cold. He didn't even waste nobody's time with a hook. Most of these rappers can't even rap for like 2 minutes without having to start singing somebody else's hook, just remixed. That was cold. We're going to have that dude on. Hey, man, shout out to Shrista for making moves, man. Yo, and no shout out to Zuckerberg for always trying to shut down her moves. Nobody has to whack-a-mole harder than her, man. Yo, when me and her in the streets, it's just like this.
I'm warning you. Next time, it's gonna be glass.
Right? Zuck just be coming at us, just cha, cha, cha. Look, I live on my other fake profile right now, JD. You know how much I hate it when people call me JD? I just get tired of telling them, man. Shit, I bet you my fake Facebook name still got more of a Google imprint than half these mofos' real names. I bet you if you Google JD Sponberg, I'm doing all kinds of nefarious shit like Fight Club, right? Like there's Jessie Sponberg, who's this one dude, and there's just JD Sponberg. Like, who the hell is that? Oh, that's the dude's fake Facebook. Shrista got like 7 of those things, man. But still, she managed to make a phone call and be like, yo, can I get my artist on your show? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's put it out a week and do a full push. And then I asked the question, though, if you come on my show, are you going to freestyle or are you going to take the chicken exit? Because in Kansas City, man, my man Bertie Madoff, he has the Beat Basement show where we put rappers on, right? And the rappers get to showcase their stuff. But if they don't come correct, then we send them out to chicken exit. All right, let's see what Maxine Waters has to say real quick. This is Coffee and Bong Hits. This show is quickly just reaching the last quarter stretch.
That the President of the United States watched the invasion from the Oval Office of our capital and seemingly enjoyed it. I want you to know we should be concerned that the Republicans will not defend him, and he is capable of starting a civil war. He must be impeached. He must be stopped now.
Gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio.
It's getting hot.
Recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Washington, Mr. Newhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
The gentleman from Washington is recognized for a minute.
1 minute.
Mr. Jordan. Madam Speaker, this is a sad day in our republic, but not as sad or disheartening as the violence we witnessed in the Capitol last Wednesday.
Bro, that was so
We're
hardcore.
all responsible. My colleagues are responsible for not condemning rioters this past year, like those who barricaded the doors of the Seattle Police Department and attempted to murder the officers inside. Others, including myself, are responsible for not speaking out sooner, before the president misinformed and inflamed a violent mob who tore down the American flag and brutally beat Capitol Police officers. Madam Speaker, we must all do better. These articles of impeachment are flawed, but I will not use process as an excuse. There is no excuse for President Trump's actions.
Whoa.
The president took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Last week, there was a domestic threat at the door of the Capitol, and he did nothing to stop it. That is why, with a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
Wow. That was a plot
The gentleman
twist.
from Ohio wishes
I was about to tell that dude to F off.
The gentleman from
Madam-
Ohio wishes to reserve.
Madam Speaker, could I ask how much time each side has?
The gentleman from Ohio has 36 1/4 minute remaining. And the gentleman from New York has 36 3/4 minutes remaining.
And at 1/4 and 3/4 minutes, you can get a lot
The gentleman
done.
from New York is recognized.
You can get a lot
Speaker,
done in
right
3/4
now
of
we
a
have 30
minute. Or
seconds
even
to
a
the
quarter. Give me
gentleman
15
from
seconds.
Massachusetts, Mr. Auchincloss.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is
15 seconds is a long
recognized for
time.
30 seconds.
Madam Chair, a mob desecrated our Capitol, killed a police officer, and attempted to overthrow our government on the orders of the President of the United States. Immediate impeachment is our duty under a Constitution that compels us to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic. As a Marine officer, I defended our democracy from foreign enemies. As a member of Congress, I am solemnly resolved to defend it from domestic ones.
Wow.
With this vote, we strike a blow for moral leadership. I yield back.
Yields back. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Ohio, Mr.
The
Shine.
gentleman from Ohio is recognized for 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, America is at a crossroads. As the violent riots at the Capitol last week so painfully and shockingly reminded us, the unhinged partisan rhetoric that too often consumes the political dialogue in this country has become toxic and is tearing us apart. If we continue down this path, there's no telling how much damage to our union there may be. Sadly, that's what's happening here today. The majority is rushing through yet a second impeachment of President Trump, who has but 7 days remaining in office.
But 7 days.
Prominent constitutional
The poor
law
orphan.
professor
Yes,
Jonathan
but
Turley
7
has
days.
cautioned, today, a dangerous precedent is being set.
A dangerous
that could lead to the
president, not
normalization
precedent.
Of snap impeachments without any hearings or any meaningful discussion or debate.
What?
The
Where have
majority
you been
is
for
ramming
4
through
years?
This House, the most potent tool at our disposal.
Snap
without a single hearing,
impeachments.
turning a process that usually takes months into a few short hours. We haven't heard a testimony from a single witness. We haven't heard from any experts on the nature of these charges, nor the damage this effort could inflict on our republic. We didn't even know how this debate would unfold until 9 o'clock this morning. This is truly an unprecedented situation, and one which could cause irrevocable harm to our nation. But, Madam Speaker, it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to continue down this misguided path. We could instead follow the wisdom provided by none other than Abraham Lincoln during another divisive time in our nation's history, and listen to the better angels of our
Abraham Lincoln name
choose a more
drop.
positive, constructive path and vote down this ill-conceived effort. We should tone down the political rhetoric. We should work together to solve the problems that face our nation. We should put aside our differences and find common ground. And we should bring Americans
Okay, watch
back
the middle
together.
camera.
Because there's no crisis we can't overcome
Ready?
if we stand united. And I yield back.
Gentleman from Ohio yields back. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York
This
is
is
recognized.
pretty crazy, yo. This is Coffee and Bong Hits. If you just turned in, or if you're
The
listening
gentlewoman from
on a
Washington is
podcast,
recognized
you
for
probably
1
know what
minute.
this is.
My fellow Americans, I rise today to stand against our enemy and to clarify our enemy isn't the president or the president-elect. Fear is our enemy. Fear tells us what we want to hear. It incites anger and violence and fire.
Maybe
But it
the
also
birds
taunts you into
care.
silence and inaction. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of what people will say or think. I'm afraid of being devalued. I'm not afraid of losing my job, but I am afraid that my country will fail. I'm afraid patriots of this country have died in vain. I'm afraid my children won't grow up in a free country. I'm afraid injustice will prevail. But truth sets us free from fear. Truth doesn't guarantee bad things won't happen, but it does promise to always prevail in the end. It has no shadows where darkness can hide. With truth comes love, and we could use that right now. My vote to impeach our sitting president is not a fear-based decision. I am not choosing a side, I'm choosing truth. It's the only way to defeat fear.
The gentlewoman yields back.
Man,
The
these
gentleman
people
from
keep
New York wishes to reserve his time. The gentleman
misdirecting.
from Ohio is
They
recognized.
really make it seem like they're gonna defend Trump,
Thank
and
you,
then they
Madam
go.
Speaker. I yield 1 minute to the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Van Dyne.
The gentlewoman from Texas is yielded 1 minute. Thank you.
Yo, to be honest, I want to punch a lot of these
should be in
people
my
too.
district working for my constituents. Instead, I'm back here in Washington because the majority could not resist another made-for-TV impeachment. American
Ay,
workers
ay,
are
ay.
losing their jobs and struggling to feed their families. Small businesses are being forced to lay off workers and close their doors. Families are tragically losing loved ones to the coronavirus. Instead of creating or even saving American jobs or negotiating additional COVID relief, we're debating an impeachment that's been preceded by no inquiry, no meaningful debate, and no due process. In 1 week's time, Joe Biden will be the president. The American people need us to rise above the heat of the moment, to focus on their needs and deliver real solutions. Because the majority decided we should debate whether or not to remove a sitting president in just 2 hours. I'll be brief. I oppose this article of impeachment, and I yield back.
The lady yields back. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Bro, these people
Speaker, now
grandstand
yield 30
so
seconds to
hard.
the distinguished gentlelady from Georgia, Ms. Prideaux.
You know why? Because they used a little
recognized for
clip
30
of their speech
Madam
for fundraising,
Speaker,
right?
I teach a civics class where I point out that our democracy is not self-executing. It requires people of good faith and ethics to make it work.
This is
The
crazy. We have
president
to
has
impeach the
repeatedly
mofo.
challenged Georgia's election results. But despite 3 recounts and many investigations, the results are clear. Joe Biden won Georgia. The idea that our election was fraudulent is a lie. Our president used this lie to incite a violent mob to attack the Capitol. I ask my colleagues to act with ethics and good faith, to reject these lies, and in this case, to support the article of impeachment. I yield back.
Gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is
Thank you, Madam
recognized.
Speaker. I would yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Posey.
The gentleman from Florida has 1 minute.
This is kind of a cool spectacle watching them
But usually after the campaign
divvy out
season's
their
over,
minutes they got.
we have traditionally come
Like,
together
all right,
for the
Jim,
good
how
of our
much you
nation.
need? I can do it in 12
Now,
minutes.
More than ever in our lifetimes, we are a divided nation. One of the reasons, the resist movement, which has harassed, harangued, and otherwise denigrated the president since the second he became the nominee. While his sins may be different than yours or mine,
Whoa.
they are clearly not treasonous. Let our men and women in blue, who suffered a lot more stress than the members of Congress they protected, have the time they deserve to recuperate, and do the same for millions of Americans who feel they've been disenfranchised.
What?
I beseech my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, if you truly want our nation to heal, vote no in this resolution. It reeks of nothing more than revenge and sets a dangerous precedent. May God continue to bless the United States of America.
The gentleman yields back.
Wow.
The gentleman from Ohio
That
wishes
dude was
to
from
reserve.
Florida.
The gentleman from New York is
The other lady was from
Madam
Texas.
Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Brown.
The gentleman from Maryland is recognized for 30 seconds.
If I was on this team, I would come up with the dopest hook.
Lived through one of our darkest days. The commander-in-chief incited a mob of insurrectionists to overturn the results of a free and fair election
Boom.
through terror and intimidation.
Okay,
They
he's
failed,
doing it.
but this violence took its toll. People died. Our country's temple of democracy was vandalized, and our image as the world's leading democracy was shaken. President Trump represents a real threat to our national security, our democratic institutions, and the people of this country. We cannot let Donald Trump, who actively orchestrated sedition, lead our nation's government for another 7 days. We cannot wait until January 20th. Donald Trump must be removed.
Boom.
Thank you. I yield back the
The
balance.
gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York
I
continues to
yield
reserve.
back.
The
That's like a
gentleman from
mic
Ohio is
drop when you
recognized.
Thank you,
don't
Madam
get to
Speaker.
touch
I
the
would yield
mic.
1 minute to the gentleman from Texas.
I yield
The gentleman
back.
from Texas is recognized for 1 minute.
Oh, somebody from
Thank you, Madam
Texas about to
Speaker,
say
and I
something
also want to
dumb.
thank my Democratic
Watch.
colleagues for finally joining Republicans in condemning mob violence after 6 months
Whoa.
refusing to acknowledge it. But I'm really tired of sanctimonious sermons on being a sore loser from some of the same Democrats who opposed accepting results in elections.
Who cares, bro? What are you talking about?
Objected to certifying every Republican victory of the 21st century. In 2000, 2004, and in 2016, Democrats objected every time. When they objected, it was patriotic. But when Republicans do it, we're inciting a mob. We're liars and we're traitors.
Yes,
This is
yes,
the double
and yes.
standard we should expect under total Democrat control. They've called for unrest in the streets. They've called for harassing cabinet officials. They've objected to certifying election results time and time again. Even the judiciary chairman secured clemency for a domestic terrorist who detonated a bomb right here in this building. But we're the extremists? I don't think so. We've been silenced by big tech on social media,
By big
corporate
tech?
America, and now the other side wants to silence
He
us.
could
on the
not say
floor.
big
This
tech.
is a sad
He
day in
had to
America.
say it.
I urge my colleagues
The
to vote no.
gentleman's time's expired.
Your time's expired, buddy. Get out of town.
Thank you,
The
Madam
gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to a new member of the House and a new member of the
What?
distinguished gentlelady from Missouri, Ms. Bush.
Oh, man, from Missouri. You know this lady's going to be off the chains. Here we go.
Madam
Oh, no.
Speaker, St. Louis and I rise in support of the article of
My
impeachment
bad.
against Donald J. Trump. If
Corey
we
Bush.
fail to remove a white supremacist president who incited a white supremacist insurrection, it's communities like Missouri's 1st District that suffer the most. The 117th Congress must understand that we have a mandate to legislate in defense of Black lives. The first step in that process is to root out white supremacy, starting with impeaching the white supremacist in chief. Thank you, and I yield back.
From New York
Blam, she
wishes
did
to
just
reserve
like
the
you said,
gentleman-
Sarah.
The gentleman from Ohio seeks recognition.
Madam Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas, Dr. Jackson.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition to the articles of impeachment. Let me be clear. What happened last Wednesday was a stain on our nation, and the criminals and the rioters responsible should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It is clear now more than ever that our country needs to come together. And Congress, this Congress, needs to lead by example and begin the process of healing the deep division that exists among us as Americans. The articles before us today will not accomplish that. In fact, the sham articles of impeachment will only serve to further fan the flames of unrest and to appease the radical left's appetite for division. We should be focusing on restoring communities devastated by lockdowns, working on America's vaccine rollout.
He has to keep moving his mask because his nose keeps growing.
And ensuring election
Ass dude's a fool. Look at his mask.
A president who has promised a peaceful transition and who has less than 7 days left in office. It is time to focus on the unprecedented challenges.
His nose is like, I'm getting out of here.
For these reasons, I urge my colleagues to oppose these articles of impeachment, and I yield back my time. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back his time. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from New York, Ms. Clark.
The fact that everybody's wearing masks makes this all extra weird, man.
Today I rise to support a
Shit. Mortal Kombat
against Donald Trump for high crimes and misdemeanors for a second time. Let us be very clear. What took place on January 6th,
This is Yvette Clark,
was an act of
a
domestic
Democrat
terrorism by
rep from
right-wing,
New York.
sycophantic white supremacists promoted, instigated, and advanced by the man in the White House, Donald Trump. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, the ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descending spiral, begetting the very thing it sets to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it.
Time has
I yield
expired.
back.
The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Tiffany.
The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My father once said to me, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. In the short time I've served in this body, one thing is clear. This is not a serious place. Last year, we watched as the other side delayed COVID relief for months to inflict maximum pain and sway the outcome of the election. The Speaker said as much. And yet these last 2 days, we have seen just how fast they can move when they want to exact.
Why don't they put some of these dudes' names up? I don't know who this guy is.
My friends on the other side now have complete control of both houses of Congress. And in a few days, they will control the entire executive branch as well. Madam Speaker, Joe Biden has talked about unity and healing. Is that what this is today? Is accusing
I hate it when they do that shit. Who cares what Joe Biden says, man?
Plan for healing?
Well, what
Is
about
working with Silicon Valley to digitally disappear those with whom they disagree with the plan for reconciliation? I was among the first to condemn the riots in Madison months ago, and I condemn what happened last week. But where were the swift accusations of incitement and insurrection from the other side last year?
Who
Is
did
today's political theater a preview of what the American people can expect from single-party rule? 2 years of double standards and punishing those who voted for someone else? Madam Speaker, I hope Mr. Biden is watching today, and he will rise to the moment and call off this effort to rub salt in the wounds of millions of Americans. It is now time for all of us, Democrats and Republicans alike, to turn down the temperature. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Cleaver.
The gentleman from Missouri is recognized for 30 seconds.
See, the problem is people can't see beyond the end of their dicks, right?
Suppose that men
Look at this 200 years ago. Look at this 200 years from now.
it would be unfair.
Stop
to
living in the moment,
anticipate
live in the
that
past, present,
I
and
or any
future.
member of this body could be a lion every day. No one is expected to be a lion day after day after day. But on this day, lions are required.
Wow. Damn, that was
Gentleman
hard.
Yields back his time. The gentleman from
Emmanuel Cleaver from
New York
Missouri
reserves
just
the
came
gentleman
through
from
and
Ohio
did
is
the.
recognized.
Did you guys see that? He
Gentleman
came
from
through and
Ohio
he
wishes to
said,
reserve the gentleman
on
from New
this
York is
day,
recognized.
lions are
Speaker, I now
required.
yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Cummings.
That
The
was
gentleman
funny.
from Tennessee is recognized for 30 seconds.
He did
Thank you
that.
very much.
Ah.
After President Trump was not impeached, Susan Collins said
Oh shit.
Susan Collins said he's learned a pretty big lesson. He was impeached. Then he brought his It Will Be Wild, Riotous television show that he produced for one person, individual one. Intelligence
Oh, he
reports
means
indicate
Putin.
that the people he said he loves and are special are going to attack this city and attack this Capitol next week. He has not asked them not to do it. He has not told them to stand down. I most fear January 20, because I think he will try to go out with a
The
bang
gentleman's
and take
time has
attention
expired.
away from Joe
The
Biden.
gentleman's time has expired, and there will be order in the House. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
I feel like we should
Madam
stay
Speaker,
through
statement
this.
from the president.
I need more
urge that there must
coffee
be
though.
no violence, no law breaking, no vandalism of any kind. This is not what I stand for. This is not what America
This is
stands
pretty
for.
historic,
I
though.
call on all Americans to help ease tensions and calm down. Just put out that statement by the President of the United States. I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Klein.
The gentleman from Virginia is
This
recognized.
is Coffee and Bong Hits. We're in
Thank you, Madam
overtime right
Speaker, and I
now.
thank the President for his words. Above the entrance to the House of Representatives is a sculpture called the Apotheosis of Democracy. It depicts allegorical peace.
It's
dressed in
funny, these
armor
people
and
aren't turning off
protecting
their
the genius of
microphones when they're
America.
done talking.
Last week, that peace was tragically torn apart as our U.S. Capitol was invaded for the first time since the War of 1812. A violent mob, including many with the most hostile of intentions, broke past security barriers and unleashed destruction and chaos throughout the Capitol. When it was over, 6 individuals were dead, including 2 Capitol Police officers. I've always supported the rights of citizens to peaceably assemble, but those who breached the Capitol and assaulted and killed Capitol Police should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. If their intent was to stop the constitutional requirement of this body to count electoral votes, they should be charged and prosecuted for insurrection against the government. But we are a nation of laws, not of men, and the legal standard for incitement to violence has not been met. Now, a week since the riots threatened the People's House, and a week until a new president takes office, we are rushing through an impeachment without all of the facts and evidence and without due process. We don't know what kind of information the offenders have, what evidence will come out during their trials, whether it bolsters the majority's claims or the minority's views, whether it implicates other individuals, groups, or other officials in the attack on this hallowed institution. We just don't know. And that's why we must treat the power of impeachment and our responsibility as holders of this power with the seriousness and solemnity it deserves. Let us gather the evidence. Let us hear it in judiciary. Make an informed decision together. This action will only further fuel the political divide among our citizens and will be detrimental to the long-term effects to efforts to unify our country. I reiterate my call from last night.
Bro, you can't even read what you got
Both
written.
President Trump and President-elect Biden have called for a peaceful transition of power. I humbly
You
beseech
piece
my
of
colleagues to work
shit.
toward this end to unify our country and not go
I
down
made
this
it
dangerous
11
path.
minutes and 5 seconds, I think, without calling somebody a piece of shit.
From Ohio wishes to
Or
reserve.
11,
The
1
gentleman
hour and
from
5
New
minutes.
York is
That's what I meant to
recognized.
say.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Langdon.
This is like the worst
Rhode
rap
Island is
battle in the
recognized
world.
For 30 seconds.
Now Stephen Hawkins is going to
January 6th
rap.
was a horrific day for our country, for our democracy. The Capitol was breached, the blood of a defender spilled, all because of a lie that the elections were stolen, a lie that has infected this nation as perniciously as the pandemic. President Trump is the source of that lie. He has perverted and betrayed his oath to defend the Constitution, attacking the foundation of our democracy by inciting his supporters to violence. He is not fit to serve and is a danger to our country while he does. I, too, pledge to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will uphold that office. I will vote to impeach President Trump. I urge my colleagues to do the same.
The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Where people run over,
1 minute to the gentleman from
it's
Pennsylvania.
like, why
Mr.
wouldn't
Perry.
you? Nobody's
The
going to say
gentleman from
anything except
Pennsylvania is
stop.
recognized for 1 minute.
What did the speaker know?
I thought it was,
Finda.
Finda.
Legislative leaders know, and when did they know it? Maybe that's a rush to impeach the president, because so we'll never know what legislative leaders here knew. The FBI knew about a number of individuals that were planning a war on the Capitol, including killing police officers, and they shared the information, but nothing happened. The chief federal prosecutor in Washington stated He is pursuing conspiracy charges. The fact that IEDs were constructed in place informs me that there was pre-planning for portions of the tragic events last week. How does the president incite an attack that was pre-planned and already underway before his speech concluded? Now, I know my colleagues on the left want America to believe that the president incited a spontaneous riot that they like to call an insurrection, but the facts are stubborn things, even if you choose to ignore them. The truth is, the multiple lawless and violent events last summer,
That's always a good
including
burn.
months-long
The
siege
facts
of
are
the
stubborn
federal courthouse,
things.
burning, looting, physical violence in so-called sanctuary cities, more closely
Has
fits the
expired.
definition of
The gentleman's time has
Thanks for
expired.
playing.
last week.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Connolly.
The gentleman from Virginia is recognized for
I
30
thank my
seconds.
friend. The American people are asking, is there any depravity too low? Is there any
Ooh.
outrage too far?
That's my
Is
question.
there any blood and violence too much to turn hearts and minds in this body? Instead of the usual justification, rationalization, and enabling and false equivalence we have to hear.
Ooh.
This is a moment of truth, my friends. Are you on the side of chaos and the mob, or on the side of constitutional democracy and our freedom? It's that simple. That's what this vote for
The
impeachment
gentleman's
represents.
time
I
has
yield
expired.
back.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York reserved. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, could I inquire how much time each side has?
Yes, you may. The gentleman from Ohio has 25 minutes remaining.
No way.
The gentleman has 25
25, thank you.
remaining.
Bro,
The
that's
gentleman
another-
from New York has
Yeah, that's a
31
whole
and
nother
1/4
hour. Yo, I'm gonna pull out, you guys.
The gentleman from
I
Ohio.
encourage you guys to go
The
find
gentleman
this,
from
watch
Ohio
this
wishes
on
to
your
reserve.
own.
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 30 seconds to the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Crow.
The gentleman from Colorado.
If it's a Republican, I'm ejecting.
Madam Speaker,
Last week I stood in that gallery and to defend this chamber against the violent mob
called
here by Donald Trump.
I have
I have dedicated my life to the defense of our nation.
And
And Donald Trump is risked all that love.
Some of
Some of our Republican colleagues are afraid of the consequences of an impeachment vote.
But this
Congress
sends
is
our young men and women to war.
Bro,
every day.
I'm saying what that guy's saying faster than that guy's saying it. Oh, that's how you got to live your life. Try to be one step ahead. That way you can see misfortune coming and don't put your foot in dog shit. That's your hot tip for the day. My name is Jesse Sparberg. This has been 10 minutes of overtime at Coffee and Bong Hits. So thank you for participating in democracy. It only works if we all participate. And remember this, if I don't say 5,000 G, hold on, let's just pick one camera. And thank you to the birds that worked today. And thank you to that lady that just stands there, never breaking her character. And Nicholas, as far as the merch store goes, I think there's a problem on the entire website. Clicking to second pages seems to turn everything black. I'm working on that. I promise I am. We know about the problem. Okay, guys, remember, if I don't say 5,000 G, then either the cops or some monkeys with herpes took my phone. I don't know what to tell you except to expect lots of original content coming this next month to urbansurvivorman.com, including more Cobra Commander holiday specials.
People always ask me, Cobra Commander, what is the true spirit of Halloween? And I call them fools. But tonight, I will tell you on our special, Cobra Commander discovers the secret meaning of Halloween. Only on urbansurvivorman.com. Tune in tonight, fools.
Oh, and one thing to remember about this. What happened at the exact moment I started peeing and said, I'm the king of this jungle. You'll respect me, monkeys. Then what happened?
We saw monkeys.
All right, 5,000 G's. See you tomorrow with Dirty Black.